All right. Yeah. Ah. All right, so that's some double stoppy shit. Some of which I can pull off, some of which I can't. Some of that stuff I ripped off from a Scotty Anderson old Hot Licks video from years ago, and I still can't do it properly. And Scotty Anderson, who's a demon, there's no other word for it. Scotty's a fucking demon. He plays with a thumb pick, and then his nails, and he plays. But when I play, I mean, I'll just play with well, I'm using a Jazz 3 today, but a hybrid pick. But what he does, he plays with a thumb pick and his index fingernail. They actually have two picks. So when he's doing runs like, it sounds like double tracking and like not mushy like I'm doing it. But I just think it's fun, so I do it anyway. So lead with Rockabilly. Anyway, check Scott Anderson out. As I'm kind of skitzing all over the place. The double stops and things like that with Rockabilly, it's really, really handy, and it sounds really good. And it doesn't have to be like yeehaw fast or anything like that. But sometimes like simple stuff actually works really well with it as well. So let's go over some of that stuff. A lot of what I was just doing, and it might sound like mush. I'm gonna have to listen back to it, but some of what I was just doing is basically taking chord shapes. Like if I take good old-fashioned G bar chord, and I just take double stops like in that shape on the adjacent strings. So if I pick like little two-note arpeggios and slide them a semitone down and a semitone up, so you'll get something like this. Right? Pretty easy, right? When you speed that up. So let's take that real slow. So I'm playing the D and on the D on the A string 5th fret, and then the G on the D string 5th fret. So there's that first bit. That's a 5th, right? So then we go to our third interval, which is a G on the D string 5th fret and a B on the 3rd string 4th fret. Sliding that down, a semitone, and then back up. Now we go to the B on the 3rd string 4th fret, and the D note, the D note on the B string 3rd fret. And then you're gonna play this double stop here on the 3rd fret on the B and the E string, so you're playing the G and the D. And then you can move that up to the C. with this, so it doesn't completely sound like mush, is to palm mute. Like I'm killing the strings completely, pretty much when I'm doing that, and just having the pick attack come out. And it's dead easy to do too. So I mean, it's one of those things where if everyone's bopping along swinging, and it's just given or at the end of the night sort of thing. It's a good one you can pull out. That's kind of easy to do, and it's not blah, 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 very technical and whatnot, but you get the it works really well. Another great thing with rockabilly, the great rockabilly players do, is they do these really cool kind of chromatic-y pull-offs. So all that is, if you're barring off on your root notes, so in this case it's G on the high E and the B string, you're going to, with your pinky and ring finger, you're going to go up to the 6th fret, pull off to the 5th fret, and then pull off to the 3rd fret. And then do the same thing on the next string. Now I'm not palm muting this at all, this is ringing out, and it can be a little sloppy, and that's kind of gives it kind of a cool effect. Now you can either end off on that double stop or do something that works really well too, and that's you're playing with your middle. I do it with my middle finger on the 5th fret on the B string, and then I'm playing the A sharp or B flat, depending on how you're thinking, on the 6th fret on the 1st string. If you move that up to the 4. And then you can move that up to the 5 or do some like a little rolling arpeggio thing like we're about to talk about for the 5. In an earlier lesson, I talked about a rolling arpeggio lick that would go from like when you're going from an E into an A in rock, like, and it's kind of a rockabilly lick, and it uses the Danny Gatton Les Paul triplet thing. And this is kind of going to be a similar thing, but you're going to play, instead of using that 7th shape, you're going to take basically your 7th chord. That, I mean, everyone knows C7. You just move it up 2 frets, right? So what we're going to do with this is we're going to do 3 notes on this and roll 3 adjacent strings like a banjo player would. You're going to bring your thumb over onto the top of the low E string and hit that A note on the 5th fret. And then pluck the first 3 notes. Move to the next set of 3. The only time you're going to change position is when you get to the high E string, the last set, and you're going to extend your hand and put your index finger down the 2nd fret on an F sharp. Slide it down a semitone, and back. And slide, it's easier to do it from once you get into it. You're going to slide up all the way to the 12th position, and then you're going to play the D note on the 12th fret, you're going to play that octave. Then you're going to, with your ring finger, come down on the A on the G string on 14th fret. You're going to play C on the 2nd string, 13th fret, and then you're going to play the F sharp on the high E string, 14th fret. Then you end up with something like this. Again, that slidey thing too is really kind of rockabilly-esque kind of thing. So there's some lead stuff, and yeah. So I mean, that's kind of a nice little chunk of rockabilly to get you started. Anyway, so let's move on to the organ shake. Okay.